Hello, hello. Today, whether you are setting off fireworks tonight or protesting against the current state of America or on at least one of many issues, I encourage you to, one, stay safe, and two, just make the most of today. It's a special day, and being productive will definitely draw at least some attention in some way or another. Today's run, for me at least, I decided to go a bit more relaxed, as you can see from my time right now. I got a 10-12, which was a bit faster than how well I did on my first day, so I'm quite happy with those results right now. On my runs, I listen to music pretty often, honestly, and if you follow me on Spotify, basically you'll see a bunch of covers of anime opening or ending themes, and honestly that kind of got me reminiscing about how much I kind of grew up with anime, at least, especially in the more recent years. I'd say my first exposure to anime would probably be around grade school. I definitely remember times where I was watching shows with my family, but also one memory I had was my classmates actually showed me in the whole class, like the whole episode of a show that I kind of forgot about. But I definitely remember that moment, at least, and thinking, this is weird, but also pretty interesting, but never really had the chance to check it out because I never really knew where to find like anime or what anime really was. Then eventually I started watching the Naruto dub on YouTube with my brother, and honestly, that was not too bad, honestly. Like, pretty good start, pretty mainstream start for most people, I feel like. And then I started watching a few shows on my own, this time with English subtitles. Those shows I remember were probably Sword Art Online and Nisekoi. And honestly, their start. Looking back at them now, I definitely feel like they definitely aren't like the cream of the crop in today's standards, but also because of them, I probably would credit them with me kind of starting to watch more shows. I started kind of getting a bit more interested, realizing that not many people were really ostracizing others because you watched anime and more people were actually kind of getting into it. So I was able to kind of relate to other people to talk about shows that they've watched and eventually kind of follow their recommendations, whether it be the mainstream of the current season and even develop my own interests and started watching shows that were kind of off the mainstream or have already been out for a few years that most people have thought that were really good. And I was kind of glad to be able to kind of develop somewhat my own interests with them. To me, though, I think every single show that I've watched and at least had some enjoyment of, I was always very interested with the world, the characters, and how they kind of developed and how they kind of interacted with each other, those basic elements that are involved in just any type of storytelling within not only the plot but also just beyond that, which is, I don't know, it definitely engaged with my imagination, which I never really had much time for, I guess, as I grew older, basically. Um, I usually watch most of my shows with English subtitles, though recently did watch a show out of pure interest to see how the English dub was, and that was Yu Yu Hakusho. Never got around to finishing it yet, but I definitely saw that there was definitely a unique charm to the English dubs, and eventually watched a few clips of other shows I've watched, usually in subs, but in the dub form. Though I do see that there is the drawback of usually the English dub kind of misinterpreting the translation of the original source, which is unfortunate at times, but also it generally usually does not take away from my enjoyment of the show itself. So to give a short answer to would I prefer English subs or dubs, I definitely prefer English subs more subconsciously because I kind of basically grew up watching English subs, but whether or not the show is in the English sub or dub doesn't really take away from my overall enjoyment of the show. Anyway, that's basically all I kind of have to say about my past with anime. And I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your 4th of July.